Dear students, today also we continue the drugs, a different kind of drugs used in our day-to-day life. Next one, anesthetics. So anesthetics are the drug molecules which are making loss of sensation. So using these anesthetics, we do surgical procedures. So in minor as well as major surgical procedures, we use anesthetics. So in medicine, we have a separate branch, anesthetics. So there are two types of anesthetics. One is local anesthetic, another one is general anesthetic. Local anesthetic are the medicines which are used in minor surgical procedures. Then general anesthetic will be used in major surgical procedures. So the action of anesthetic is which lead to loss of sensation. So consider local anesthetic. This is mainly applied on affected parts. So when we do minor surgery in a particular part like a hand or leg or anything, for minor surgical operations we use this local anesthetic. So which will lead to loss of sensation, but it won't affect consciousness. Consciousness will not be affected. It leads to loss of sensation. So we know that peripheral nerve fibers are responsible for the transmission of pain. So if any injury on your hand, so the pain will be transmitted via peripheral nerve fiber to the brain. So this local anesthetic, example, procaine. So local anesthetics will block the transmission of pain into the pain via peripheral nerve fibers. So in the minor surgical procedures or operations, we use local anesthetics. Based on the linkage in the drug, we have two types: ester-linked local anesthetic and amide-linked local anesthetic. And this is having ester linkage. So this is ester-linked local anesthetic. And the lidocaine. So this is another type of local anesthetic which is having amide linkage. So this is amide-linked local anesthetic. Next type of anesthetic is general anesthetic. So this is responsible for unconsciousness. So when we take a general anesthetic, which will lead to unconsciousness, it affects central nervous system. So in major surgical operations, we use general anesthetics. For example, cesarean, we use general anesthetics. And this general anesthetic affects central nervous system so that it leads to unconsciousness. There are two types of general anesthetics. One is intravenous general anesthetic, another one is inhalational general anesthetic. Example for intravenous general anesthetic is propofol. Example for inhalational general anesthetic, isoflurane. So these anesthetic drug molecules will lead to unconsciousness due to affecting the central nervous system. So in major surgical operations, we use general anesthetic. So three more questions. Write a note on anesthetic. Give examples for different types. Next question. Antacids. So last class we discussed about antacids. So histamine is responsible for the secretion of hydrochloric acid. So histamine is attached with the receptor molecules. Thereby hydrochloric acid is secreted in the stomach. When the level of acid is more, it leads to acidity. So there is a burning sensation. It's called acidity. For relieving the acidity, we use alkalis like aluminum hydroxide or magnesium hydroxide. So these are the alkalis which are neutralizing the acids. As we discussed already, this will cure only symptoms, right? So aluminum hydroxide and magnesium hydroxide are alkalis which are used to neutralize the acids, hydrochloric acid in the stomach. So these are called antacids. So antacids are the molecules or the drugs which are neutralizing the acid in the stomach. It relieves symptoms like a burning sensation in the chest or else throat area. Examples of antacids: aluminum hydroxide, then magnesium hydroxide, this is called the milk of magnesium, then sodium bicarbonate, calcium bicarbonate, then ranitidine, then cimetidine, and two more examples are there: omeprazole as well as rabrazole. These are all the common antacids which are used to neutralize the acids in the stomach. Third drug, antihistamines. So consider allergical effects. We will have allergies like a skin allergy. So for treating the allergic effects, we need a drug. So these are the drugs which are used for treating allergic effects. The common medicine is cetirizine, right? So most often we use cetirizine tablet for skin allergies. So antihistamines are the drugs which are blocking the release of histamines from the receptors. So we have a receptor called histamine 1 receptor. From the histamine 1 receptor, there will be a liberation of histamine molecule. So when we block this, we can cure the allergic effects. So medicines like cetirizine and levocetirizine, desloratadine and brompheniramine, terfenadine are the antihistamines which are curing the allergic effects. Next drug, antimicrobials. So these are the drugs which are acting against the microorganisms like bacteria. So this will fight with bacteria. So these are called antimicrobials. The 5 type of medicines are there. Number 1, beta lactams. So this is one of the antimicrobials which is acting or targeting the bacterial ribosomes. So mainly this is making interactions with the bacterial ribosomes, thereby protein synthesis or protein production will be stopped. Or bacterial cell wall biosynthesis will also be prevented. So the uses of beta lactam drugs, which is used for treating the skin infections, dental infections, ear infections, respiratory tract infections, urinary tract infections, pneumonia as well as gonorrhea. For all these kind of infections and diseases, we use beta lactams as antimicrobials. Examples: penicillins, then ampicillin. So like that, cephalosporins, carbonims, monobactams. These are all the beta lactam drugs. They are inhibiting the synthesis of bacterial cell wall. Number 2, second type of antimicrobials macrolides. So these drugs will act on bacterial ribosomes and it prevents protein synthesis. And these macrolides are used for treating respiratory tract infections, then genital gastrointestinal tract infections and skin infections. For all these infections we use macrolides. Examples: erythromycin, and azithromycin. So these are all macrolide drugs. Third one, fluoroquinolones. So these are the drugs which are interacting with the enzymes. So bacterial enzymes are there, like DNA gerase. So these fluoroquinolones are inhibiting the enzymes, so bacterial enzymes like this. Thereby, we can use it for infections like urinary tract infections, skin infections, respiratory infections like sinusitis, pneumonia, bronchitis, pulmonary infections in cystic fibrosis. So in all these infections, we can use fluoroquinolones. Examples: so clinofloxacin, ciprofloxacin, then levofloxacin. So these are the fluoroquinolones which are used for treating several infections. Fourth type, tetracyclines. So these are the drugs which are preventing protein synthesis. Bacterial protein synthesis will be inhibited by these drugs, for that which will interact with 30S subunit of bacterial ribosomes. So these drugs will inhibit the protein synthesis. For that, these drugs will interact with the 30S subunit of bacterial ribosomes. Thereby, bacterial protein synthesis will be inhibited. So this can be used for treating peptic ulcer diseases, infections like respiratory tract, cholera, as well as and vulgaris. These are all the infections which can be prevented or cured by tetracyclines. The name of the drugs: doxycycline, minocycline, oxytetracycline. This is fourth category of antimicrobials. Last one, aminoglycosides. So these drugs, as usual, will interact with the 30S subunit of bacterial ribosomes, and this also prevents protein synthesis, the same functioning, and which is used for treating the infections caused by gram-negative bacteria. So what are the infections caused by gram-negative bacteria? That will be cured by these aminoglycosides. So name of the drugs: kanamycin, and this is common one, we already heard this word, gentamicin, neomycin. So these are aminoglycosides which will cure infections caused by bacteria. Next drug is called antiseptics. And this is a drug mainly used in surgical operations. So this will inhibit growth of microorganisms, or to kill the microorganisms we use antiseptic. So this is mainly applied in living tissues, right? So this is not applied in inanimate objects. This will be applied in the living objects. So in the living tissues, these antiseptics will be applied. So it will prevent, or it will stop the growth of microorganisms, or it will slow down the growth of microorganisms. So during surgical procedures, this is used to reduce or stop growth of microorganisms. So examples of antiseptics: hydrogen peroxide and povidone iodine. Then benzalkonium chloride. So these are common antiseptics used in surgical procedures. Next, disinfectants. This is used in our day-to-day life. Even in our home, we use different disinfectants. So these disinfectants are also slow down the growth of microorganisms, or it will inhibit the growth of microorganisms. So this is applied in non-living beings. So this is applied in inanimate objects. We use disinfectants like chlorine-based compounds, alcohol, hydrogen peroxide. So that we use alcohols in sanitizers. So these are the disinfectant drugs. Last one, anti-fertility drugs. So this is preventing the birth. So this is a birth control drug. So this is a hormone. This drug is actually a synthetic hormone. This will suppress ovulation or fertilization. Thereby, we can control the birth. So these synthetic hormones are of two types: synthetic estrogen as well as synthetic progesterone. Examples are ethanol estradiol, then menstanol. So these are synthetic estrogen hormones and synthetic progesterone hormones. Northindrone, these are all anti-fertility drugs which are used in birth control pills. So these are commonly used drugs in our day-to-day life. So far we have completed tranquilizers, analgesics, narcotic analgesics, anesthetics, antacids, antihistamines, antimicrobials, antiseptics, disinfectants, and anti-fertility drugs. So all these common drugs we have completed. Tomorrow we start food additives. So what are the additives we add in the food items? Thank you.